A room can change before anything in it has moved. The same walls, furniture, and light may feel perfectly ordinary on a morning of safety and ease. A world that appears already assembled, stable, and waiting for us. Yet, that same space can feel charged with danger on another day. The physical facts are unchanged. The objects remain where they were. But the world you experience has shifted fundamentally. A delayed message, an unexpected silence, or a missed call can seem insignificant when you feel secure, yet ominous and threatening when fear has already taken hold of your nervous system. This difference is easy to dismiss as mood or imagination, but it reveals something fundamental. The mind does not passively wait for reality to arrive. It is not a camera recording a completed scene. Instead, it uses memory, bodily state, emotion, and culture to anticipate what is most likely happening. It reaches out from the past to give form to what appears in the present moment. Predictive processing theories describe perception as an ongoing comparison, a constant silent dialogue between the brain's internal expectations and the sensory information coming from the world. Your brain is continually generating hypotheses about the hidden causes of sensory signals. It is an active predictor, trying to stay one step ahead of the environment to guide successful action. When sensory evidence does not match an expectation, the brain encounters a prediction error. This discrepancy is the engine of learning. In response, the mind may revise its interpretation, redirect its attention, or initiate actions to gather more information, seeking to reduce the uncertainty that feels like pressure. Perception is a negotiation between expectation and evidence. The mind makes its best guess about reality, but it is not free to invent whatever it prefers. It must answer to the world. Physical reality provides the ultimate constraints. It pushes back against our mistakes. A wall does not become a doorway just because we wish it to be one. Reality continues to resist us. Neuroscientist Anil Seth calls this ordinary perception a controlled hallucination. We do not see the world as it is. We see our brain's best estimate of what is out there. This hallucination is controlled because it is tethered to reality through sensory evidence. The brain's task is not to be a perfect mirror, but to create a workable relationship with the environment. Ambiguous images and sounds reveal this process clearly. A meaningless pattern of light or sound can suddenly become recognizable once the mind knows what it is supposed to detect. Once a model is possessed, the organization of the perception shifts. The acoustic signal may remain unchanged while the conscious experience of the music transforms completely. Language and culture act as deep-seated filters, influencing what becomes perceptually available. They teach us which differences matter and what deserves our limited attention. Every person inherits interpretive categories before they have the capacity to examine them. Our worldviews provide the maps we use to divide experience and assign meaning to the unknown. Attention determines which signals are granted weight. A faint sound that would vanish in a safe environment may become impossible to ignore when danger is expected. Hypervigilance is a learned response of the nervous system. It has learned that missing a threat is far more costly than raising a false alarm. Trauma can rewrite perception before conscious reasoning even begins. An ambiguous expression, a silence, or a sudden movement can feel threatening because the body is still predicting danger. The body projects a history of threat onto the present moment. This bias is not irrational. It reflects a survival system adjusting itself to an environment where underestimating danger was fatal. Healing involves more than being told the danger has passed. Deep predictions do not yield to better ideas alone. The nervous system requires the evidence of lived contradiction. These models change through repeated experiences of safety, supportive relationships, bodily regulation, and the patient passage of time. The brain also predicts the meaning of sensations inside the body, a process called interoception. It continually receives and interprets signals from heart, breath, and gut. A racing heart may become fear, excitement, anger, or anticipation depending on the context. The body does not deliver complete emotional meaning before the mind becomes involved. Placebo and nocebo effects demonstrate that expectation can influence our very biology. If we trust a treatment, the brain can activate real physiological pathways of relief. This does not mean pain is imaginary. It means that the nervous system integrates sensory signals with context and expectation to decide how much a sensation should hurt. This mind-body participation must never be turned into blame. We do not consciously choose the predictions our nervous systems inherited. Genetics, trauma, social conditions, and medical history shape us long before we can change them. Participation in our perception is a fact, but it is not the same as domination. Spiritual, religious, and scientific worldviews provide the categories that shape our experiences before reflection begins. They are the maps we use to navigate a vast universe. The same unusual experience might be interpreted as a revelation, a demonic influence, or a neural event, depending on what a person has been conditioned to expect. A sincere experience can be neurologically mediated, culturally shaped, and spiritually interpreted all at once. Wisdom lies in preserving these differences without letting one cancel the others. Metacognition creates a vital space between an experience and its explanation. It is the capacity to notice your own thinking and the interpretation you are assigning. We may not control our first preconscious reaction, but we can pause. We can ask what else might be happening before we allow a conclusion to freeze into certainty. Remaining open does not mean automatically distrusting yourself. It means honoring a feeling or a perception without requiring it to be an infallible proof of reality. Predictions are learned, which means they can be revised, but this revision often requires lived contradiction, new experiences that challenge the old model in the world itself. The mind prefers familiar worlds because familiarity reduces uncertainty. Growth begins when new relationships or contemplations make the old predictions impossible to maintain. The central lesson is that the present carries more history than it appears to carry. A face is seen through earlier faces, a silence is heard through earlier silences. Our reality is a tapestry woven from the threads of our past. Recognizing this does not eliminate reality. It explains why the same world can be encountered so differently. Wisdom begins when we recognize that our perception is real and consequential, yet always incomplete. Reality must still be allowed to surprise us and push back. Humility is the recognition that what appears obvious is only the first layer. To know that our view is partial is not to lose contact with reality, but to embrace its depth. As we move forward, we can choose to look again, to see beneath our certainty, and find the mystery that remains after every explanation has been offered. What meaning does your mind assign to an uncertain situation before you have gathered enough information to understand what is actually happening?